Okay, in this lesson I want to talk about the Keynote tool that is now part of ArchiCAD 28. I'm going to close my favorites so I get a little bit more screen real estate, and I'm going to open up my Keynotes. So I've organized some Keynotes. I have a main folder, Architectural Keynotes. Folder number 1 is full of code references. So these are just some code references that might come across that you might need in various projects. I've got the IBC references for like a Nevada project, and I've got the California codes also, so like the CRCs in here. So like if you grab this Keynote, it'll kind of give you a link to that section if you need it. That might be a bad example, but if we go into an ADA, there might be if you have to tag something as ADA compliant, you can use like this Keynote and it'll give the code section. And what's going to happen is when you place your label, the key is going to come across. The title is mainly just for your only organization purposes within this list, and then the description is what will populate in the Keynote Legend. And Keynotes, I'm just going to put one here because you'll see how it comes across. There's your 2000 ADA or 2010 ADA. And then specifications, I've got some different Keynotes based on CSI. These are just kind of more generic, where you can, if you want to go in here, talk about what your interior paint, what your finish is. If you just want to kind of have that, then you can do a place label key. That's going to come across as PT1. Depending on this, on whatever finish you choose, like wood paneling, there's no description. So these are just kind of placeholders for different things that you can add notes to, or spec notes too. There's some concrete notes, like mainly for this is a construction joint, what a water stop is. So there's some stuff in here if you need it, but this is just kind of general material notes in the specifications. And then the third and final folder is the drawing notes. And again, these are going to be your project specific. So these are the ones you're going to fill out. And I've organized them the same as where you'd find them in the layout book. So the thing with Keynotes is that each group of Keynotes, like these architectural, if you want to group them by site plans, demolition plans, floor plans, so you don't have one giant long list of Keynotes. If you do that, which I think is the better way to do it because it makes it easier to find them, each folder has to have a unique identifier in front of it, because you can't have two number ones. I couldn't just call this one site plan Keynote and have one roofed Keynote. It's not going to work that way. So I've organized them by putting a 2-letter prefix, and then the number of the note will follow. These are all blank right now because they're just kind of placeholders. I put about 10 in. So if you have you want to keynote something on your site plan, oops, I want to place this label, sorry. Keynote that. I believe you can also replace the label. Yeah, you can do that if you want to change it. Let's say I want to call out something to be demolished. This one's going to be demo. Whoops. Place label. I want this to be demo. I would make sure too, if it's demo, these are also renovation compliant. So I want to put that on to be demolished. And I do that because if I go to my, where are you? Graphic override, sorry. Floor plan. It should turn red. Why isn't it turning red? Or did I just... Oh, I gave it a color red. That's why. Yeah, so I would just take this actually. What I would do is just eyedropper and syringe for demo notes to be read. And then, yeah, replace the label to what I want. Oops, that did not work. Not sure why. I'll go through and figure that out. But anyway, that would be read. And yeah, so that's how you'd label things. You can do it on plans, you can do it on elevations, you can do it on sections. And then what you do is whenever you get to your sheet, so I'm going to go to a plan sheet. This one will be on, let's just go to the floor plan because this view should show up. Floor plan, first level floor plan. Once I get to my sheet, this should populate. Well, let me make sure because I've got a schedule up here, and that's this Place Legend tool. There you go. So that's what would come across. See how it'll break it down by your folder. So it'll kind of like, this is your site keynotes, this is your demolition keynote, this and that. And I do have I have favorites for those. So under keynotes, there you go. There's two types of legends. There's, let me pull this across, all by drawing type or only used. So basically the all by drawing type is like, let's say I'm doing architectural keynotes, I'll apply this. It's going to put all the notes that are, this one, let me move this out of here. So it's going to put all the notes of a category on your sheet, whether it's used or not. And you would go in and select it. Here, this is where you pick your subfolder of which subfolder. So that would be my floor plan keynote. So I want to switch it to that. So that's going to give me a list of all the floor plan, and that's going to mirror, what's in the floor plan folder. So yeah, there's 10 generic ones. They all have the same input description in the description part of the keynote menu. So that's why that's there. Now the other thing I can do is I can go by only used and apply that. And so now any keynote that's actually in the sheet will show up. And the only thing that's going to show up is anything that's actually in a view. So let me go to an example. If I do a keynote, like let's do number 10. Well, let's just pick something else so we can see. We can make it easier. So I'm going to say I'm going to place this exterior elevation label, but I put it down here. Okay, here's the keynote, EE2. But it's not in the area that this plan is set to for the view. So if I go back to here, you'll see that does not come across. Now it would come across. Let me just shorten this up too. It does come across if I pull it into my view. So now it's in my plan that's going to be in, that comes across the view on the sheet. So let me update. There it is, EE2, and now I have the exterior elevation keynote section that comes in. So this is the one I would probably use. Just kind of use the keynotes that are only used. But if you do want to have like a demolition and you want to have them all, or floor plan and you want to have them all, you can choose a folder of keynotes and display all of those keynotes. And if you want to display multiple folders, you just have to make multiple schedules. So if you want elevation and section details or section keynotes on the same, you would just create two legends. So let's say I'm just going to favorite this. I'm going to go by drawing type. Okay, that gives me my that one was set up for systems because that's probably what I saved when I made the favorite. So again, you just kind of, you choose this. We're going to do site plan keynotes. Sorry, I'm going to got to make this smaller. So I can't. Got to close a couple sections. There. Now you can see what I'm doing. So I'll close that. Just make a copy. Drag that down, and let's say now I want to change it to floor plan keynotes. So that's how you would get multiple lists of keynotes if you want just all of them and not just the ones that are used in your view. But I would always do kind of the in your view because there might be one like, you make sure it'll just catch everything. Like you might forget, oh, I've got a code one in there. So you don't have to pull the code one all the way in. And the nice thing about this, again, if you do by only used, it separates them by section. So that's kind of an overview of the Keynote tool. Like I said, it works on, let me go back to the starting view. Let me go back to this wall section we created. The Keynotes work, on sections as well. So I can go to, that's my wood soffit finish. I'm going to place that label, and oh, it's already there. I already had an example. There you go. So yeah, this is a Keynote. That's for BS1. This would actually, yeah, well, anyway, you get the idea. I could change this if I want to change it. I've got the wrong one. Let's say it should be this one. I just replace the label. Because it's a favorite, it might adjust the leader line. But then, yeah, just drag it back. But it's easy to replace them. So that's just kind of an overview of Keynotes.